I know I've let you down. I've been a fool to myself. I thought that I could live for no one.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. This is the director's cut of Nickel and Dime. When I was first approached with the book, I read the title, and I thought, this is going to be a good movie. I'm going to make some money. Boy, was I wrong. Far from money. About the only thing this book is good for is firewood. Have a nice day. It'll be better than mine.
Hey, ¿te gusta comida?
Me gusta.
Hey, yo quiero trabajar.
No es posible, ¿me
As usual, all the Mexicans came into the neighborhood and took all the low-wage job and cheap housing.
Cut. This is when I first realized that this was not going to be a big money movie. We couldn't even afford real Mexicans. I cut the cinematography budget down to $15, and with the content we were working with, it was going to be difficult even at that.
A hasty generalization, for those of you who don't know, is basing your entire opinion of a large group, a race per se, off of a single experience. Barbara did this multiple times and refused to let us do anything about it in the video, so we had to put it in. She saw one thing and let it make up her mind. The stereotypes were astounding. We couldn't do anything about it because of our contract with her. We had to just put up with it. She's an interesting woman. We'll leave it at that.
Barbara! Barbara, it's God.
What's that?
I need you to go on a mission.
What mission?
I need you to act poor.
How do I do that? All I got is money.
Here, use this. Try to offend the least amount of people as possible.
What could this be? A PhD? That means I'm better than you.
Barbara thought she was on a mission from God. She thought that made her better than everyone else. The false authority. God didn't send her on a mission. She has no more authority than us, but in her mind, she's perfect. I'm gonna need another one of these.
Yo, Will G! This stuff will give me a little bit of a bounce.
Barbara makes an extreme exaggeration or slippery slope statement when she thinks that the Claritin D that she took will show up as methamphetamines on the drug test. This is just a ridiculous thought, and the fact that the Claritin D will show up as meth is just a ridiculous jump to conclusions. That's a huge assumption there. And it's just one really, it doesn't lead to the other. There's no slope to slip down. It's Claritin D. But no matter how many times we explained it to her, she just wouldn't believe us. I mean, Claritin D is not addictive. Just like alcohol is not addictive, right? The clip was even worse than we had originally thought. I was in the studio with my editing specialist and my writer. And we noticed that not only is there one fallacy, there are two. The second, she uses faulty analogy because she assumes that Claritin D, because it has one effect in common with methamphetamines, that it will show up as methamphetamines. This is a pretty ridiculous assumption to make, and it just makes her seem less intelligent than I really believe she is. I don't think that she's dumb. I think she just doesn't know how to approach it correctly, and this was not helping her case. It's going downhill fast. Mr. Writer, sir, we have a couple people here that would like to interview you.
Yes, what is it?
Hello. So we've heard that this movie has been dubbed the Career Ender. Could you give us some insight into that?
Well, to put it shortly, we started with 20 writers, and now I'm the only one. And I went from being the head writer and just telling people what to write, and now I have to write the whole movie myself.
Oh, that does not sound good at all. Could you give us some insight as to why so many writers have quit?
Well, it's really to do with just the material itself. We've really had a struggle with writing because of how many fallacies and holes she has in her argument.
Could you give us an example?
Sure. I'm writing one right now. The passage would be, if I had used cocaine or heroin, there would be no problem, since these are water soluble and wash out of the body in a couple of days. LSD isn't even tested for. But my indiscretion involved the only drug usually detected by testing, marijuana, which is fat soluble, and I have read can linger in my body for months. This is really just hard to write into the movie because she's using equivocation here, and that's a fallacy because she's saying that she used marijuana indirectly, but she doesn't come right out and say it, and this is really bad for her credibility because how is a reader supposed to trust her when she can't even admit to that?
Here, I have something that might be able to help you. Try this. It'll give you a little bounce.
Thanks. Doesn't take an economist to know that the rent's too high and the wages are too low. It's the market's stupid. God, you're so stupid, Shango.
This piece was a little more difficult to work with than the others. Barbara's dogmatic, ironically toward the dog. So essentially dogmatism is when someone presents an idea and follows that presentation with saying, you know, that if you don't agree that you're wrong or you're stupid, like she does toward the dog. Her statement's also ad hominem as she attacks the dog's intelligence and character rather than viewing her own argument. It's really difficult to put these things in knowing the detrimental effect they will have, but according to Barbara, they're all necessary. How long is it, you ask? That's about 9, give or take. Oh, hello, Barbara.
Are you, liberal or conservative?
I'm conservative.
Oh, that must mean you don't treat your poor very well, do you?
It's not really like that. It's not that simple.
Hmm?
Barbara started to aggravate me quite a bit toward the finish of the filming of her book. She would come into my private den and interrupt my more personal private interviews, and it started to really get on my nerves. She did it in her book too, oversimplifying questions to make them an either-or statement, which is a fallacy, weakening her argument once again. She would simplify the political spectrum down to conservative or liberal, treating the poor well or not. It's really not that black and white. And she asked me that same question because she thought it was somehow relevant. really started to get on my nerves. It was tough to keep my cool.
Oh, this is a nice one. I like this one. Is there a price on here somewhere? Let's see how much I got. Oh.
Wow. Alright, I like this one.
I'll take 2 of them.
Barbara uses scare tactics in the part of her book about the housing market, claiming that the poor and the middle class don't have a chance because of the rich buying out any decent houses from them. This is not true, and she tries to get the middle class and the poor to be scared and believe that the rich are ruining their chances of getting anything. This scare tactic ruins her credibility because she couldn't author a more credible way of delivering her point other than to attempt to scare her audience into believing what she wants them to believe. Just keeps getting better and better.
Without us women, child abuse rates would soar.
In her book, Barbara mentions the topic of child abuse, and she claims that without women, that child abuse rates would soar. This statement is missing a link between child abuse and men or lack of women, which creates a non sequitur. And even worse, this statement that she made can't be checked because there will never be no women or no men in the world. So this fallacious statement hurts her argument considerably, both on the credibility level and logical level. And it really just takes away from her overall argument. So, Barbara, make yourself useful for once. I need another drink.
All you men do is boss us around.
Oh, hello there. It's Lucas Janovicius, the head writer from Nickel and Dime, back again. This time because the head writer asked me to, because he had to call out sick fallacies, I guess. And ironically, it's another fallacy I'm in here for. This time, though, it's faulty causality. When Barbara states that without women, the child abuse rates would soar, this is faulty causality, because she's saying that when women aren't around, child abuse rates soar. She has no real evidence to support this. She's just saying that the lack of women is the cause of child abuse, and this is straight up a fallacy because she provides no evidence, but she simply states that one event leads to the other without any direct connection. And I quite frankly can't blame the director for being absent. I mean,
I know I'm single, and I know I'm healthy, but I can't get by the sweat of my brow.
In this scene, Barbara tries to appeal to her audience as a poor, hard-working woman who is not properly rewarded for her hard work and effort. She uses a sentimental appeal by overplaying the dramaticness and the toughness of this struggle that she is going through. It is not effective, however, because the audience knows that what she does really doesn't matter because she has a more wealthy life to go back to if she doesn't feel like being poor anymore. This really takes away from her credibility as a writer and as the person doing the experiment because she has no real motivation to try her best. She just wants you to believe that she has always tried wholeheartedly.
Why don't you just get up and move like I did?
I cannot do that, my friend. I have the responsibility of a family.
What's that?
Barbara tells others that they should just uproot and move, because she did it. This bandwagon appeal is not effective because other people cannot just leave. They have families and responsibilities, and their jobs support their actual lives. If Barbara were to move and could not find a new job in this new place, the experiment is over. She goes back to her cushy life. If one of these real families were to do this and could not find a job, they're out on the streets with no way of making money. Barbara just can't fathom why they don't do this. Her reasoning, because she did it, is invalid because she is not actually poor. At the end of her book, Barbara does some self-evaluation. And when I say that, I mean she pats herself on the back for all her great work. I believe her exact words are, "How did I do as a low-wage worker? If I may begin with a brief round of applause, I didn't do half bad at the work itself, and I claim this as a considerable achievement." Her book, riddled by fallacies, was a weak argument at best, and that makes her patting herself on the back a straw man fallacy because she claims victory with no real reason to claim victory. The book was not applaud worthy, and it definitely was not a bestseller as so many claim it was. I'm not sure how it got to be there, but the movie definitely will not match the book.
They said all it was good for was firewood. They were right.
Die, book.
Burn, baby, burn.
Down to the ground. We're done. It's finally over. I can smell the ink.
Barbara's hopes and dreams burning away, as they should.
Far from money.
Wow! Do that. I'm rolling in dough.
Here, use.
Not going to make me any money. I ended up taking our...
Are you sure that was in section 3?
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like that was.
Brooke, do you have your synthesis with the reflection?
Ew, it's so gross.
I mean,